Hello, everybody. It's February the 4th, and the year is 2023. My name is Dexter Nathan. About 3 weeks ago, on the 10th of January last month, the 80th Golden Globe Award ceremony was held in United States. For the first time in history, uh, an Indian movie known as RRR has won the award for under the category of music, original music. It's something that Indians should be proud of. Uh, India has uh, incredible talent in terms of, in, you know, in every genre of uh, the industry, right? Be it acting, be it cinematography, be it you name it, right? But regardless, only the North Indian movies have been going out for the international market. Especially, Russia has a huge market, and Indian movies. If you talk to the Russians, they're all very fond of Indian movies. They love the Indian movies, but the only movies that are sent from India to Russia is Hindi movies. Now, what is Hindi? Hindi is a language that's spoken in the northern India, and so what it is India is for those of you who are not familiar with the Indian landscape. Uh, I mean, it's comparable to Europe, where it's made up of several different countries with several distinctly different languages. Unlike United States, there are 50 states and they all speak the same American English. So they are, in that sense, they are unified. They are not. Uh, there's there's a certain harmony when it comes to ethnicity. Un- Unfortunately, when they're unified in one way, they look for differences in another way. That's a different thing. That's human nature. We don't look for common grounds. We always look for the differences. That's why human history is so riddled with conflicts. In India, 29 states, and of course, two union territories or whatever. So each of these states is like a country unto itself. They all speak their uh, own language. The southern states, there are five states: uh, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, and Tulu. Tulu is a small ethnic group. The biggest in the southern India, in South India, the biggest state or the population is the Telugu speaking population. Incidentally, director Raj Mouli is from Andhra Pradesh, is from the Telugu speaking population. He's a wizard, is 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 incredibly talented. His movies, if you watch his previous movie Bahubali, it's a movie that's in par with the legendary Hollywood movies such as Cecil D. Mills' Ten Commandments and Ben, you name it. And so he's incredibly talented. The only thing that I find a little putting off with this movie making approach is he creates this unbelievably great storylines and screenplays and plot line unbelievable, and then he his characters, because the story is so great. Uh, he brings in characters to play this extraordinary, I guess, uh, characters mostly inspired from the mythology, largely influenced by. But he doesn't replicate the characters, but he only with an inspiration he creates a story. Unlike others who would steal the idea and remake uh, the story in a modern context, that is very cheesy, right? And so Raj Mouli is an iconic figure in the movie industry, and RRR. Now everybody in the West, in United States, and they are talking about it, raving about it. It's a good change. In the past, like I said, uh, the South Indian movies were not uh, exported, or not the Western world did not get the opportunity to see the South Indian movies. Everything was Hindi speaking, the Bollywood industry, right? And based in Bombay, now Mumbai, right? And so it's always they sent their movies, not the South Indian movies. South India had incredible talent in uh, every sphere, every genre. But why? Because they didn't have the, well, of course, they didn't have the big budgets too. Regardless, because Hindi speaking, because Hindi has become the Delhi-centric government drive has made since independence of India. The government is largely run by the North Indians, and so North Indian language Hindi is systematically enforced, and in schools they try to teach, and this in all the other states, whatever states in the all over India, they all learn Hindi. So more than half the population of the India is going to be the biggest population in the world soon to come. So half that population speak. They wanted to unify India with the language and make it one nation, like one a nation that speaks one language, the official language known as Hindi. So the southern part of India, they are agitating, especially Tamil, said to be the oldest language in the world, long before Hindi came into existence. Uh, Tamil goes back, to primordial times, and long before. See, there is recent artifacts and excavation even goes to consolidate the fact that Tamil is the oldest language even before Sanskrit and Pali came into use. So that's that. But if you speak to the people, the older people, like especially you know, people who lived in the foreign countries. Nobody knows anything about the Tamil movies. But if you speak to the Russians, they all know about the Hindi movies because the Delhi-centric government sends the Hindi movie. Things have changed, and the North Indians always look down at the South. That difference is there. And even in Sri Lanka, that's there because the Sinhalese population came from North and the Tamil population came from south. In Sri Lanka, 75% or even over 75% is Sinhalese population. And where did they come from? They came according to the historical chronicles, the Mahavamsa, Sulavamsa, Deepavamsa. Those are the three chronicles written by an Indian Brahmin in the 5th century, they say. And it just tells the history that Sinhalese migrated to Sri Lanka, and the natives of Sri Lanka are not Sinhalese, it's the Vadas, comparable to the Pygmies, small uh, tribe that made up of very small people like the Pygmies. And they were very rustic and in the interiors, and the Sinhalese came in. And though the mythology tells you another story, that ancient rulers were Tamils, but mythology is not history. So there is a clear distinction there. Uh, Mythology is not supported by historical facts. Even history is can be all distorted, and a false narrative over the years can be presented to the people, which becomes history. It's the ruling powers that presents the narrative of the history for the progeny. So that's the same with India. The South Indian history, like the Cholas and the Pallavas, the Pandyas, the Sheras, they at during different eras, these dynasties, these uh, South Indian, the heroes are the dynasties ruled for 200, 300 years. And if you, the neighboring state Telugu, they had a rich history, like the Nayaka history. Incidentally, the Nayakas uh, even infiltrated into Sri Lanka, and a lot of Sinhalese people have the are the descendants of Nayakas. Everybody has to have Nayaka names: Bandar Nayaka, Sena Nayaka, uh, Daha Nayaka, and so many Nayakas. And so these are all the descendants, the progeny of the Nayakas. And in the 10th century, the Cholas captured Sri Lanka. They conquered Sri Lanka. Rajaraja Chola ruled parts of Sri Lanka, but his son Rajendra Chola conquered the entire Sri Lanka and Far Eastern countries, like 15 countries. And they all ruled, but the mistake they did was they didn't colonize these places, so you don't have the Tamil population. So the North Indians came to Sri Lanka from Bengal, Orissa, and Bengal, Orissa, even Maldives, from Maldives, because the Sinhalese language, if you take the Sinhala language, it is a mixture of the ancient Pali, Bengali. The ancient Bengali is called Prakriti, and Bengali, Prakriti, Pali, and Odia language, from Orissa, and there are Maldivian mixture too. Like for instance, if you the word for star in Sinhala is same in just one word that comes to my mind is same in Maldivian language. The word term for rice word the that if you want to say rice in Sinhala, it's the same word that used in Bengali language. So there are a lot of I'm just saying it just offhand. So it's there. So this enmity between ethnic enmities, looking down, the majority looking down at the minority and trying to ostracize them. It's not only in Sri Lanka; it's happening in India too. The, in the past, it was very apparent in the movie industry. Only the Hindi movies were sent to Russia. They all know the Russian movies. The Russians all know about all the Indian. When they say Indian, they only know the Hindi movies. Now, lately, the South Indian movies have progressed to a point they're making even better movies, right? Movies like made by Bahubali, like I said, movies made by Rajmouli, movies like Bahubali, now RRR. These are milestones, and one other movie that I didn't watch it, but highly acclaimed from it comes from Canada recently. I think it called Kantara or something. Uh, it's, I think the budget was uh, huge, so they made a movie that's highly acclaimed by everybody. And in South India, in Tamil Nadu, they're making great movies, and it was never short of talents, right? Tamil Nadu is known, and originally the movie in the South industry in the neighboring states, they all came to make movies in South India. Anyways, this majority, these ethnic conflicts, the majority trying to ostracize minority or trying to look down at minority, the ruling government is just not very. Uh, it's not something unusual or very uncommon. It's what is happening in what happened in Sri Lanka is happening in India too, and they're now trying to uh, systematically colonize the southern state Tamil Nadu, sending the Hindi speaking population under the pretext of seeking employment, systematically moving them to South India. And then soon to be, they will be having a huge voting population, northern speaking. So the agitation in Tamil Nadu can be quelled. That's the game plan the Delhi-centric government is doing. But all that apart, uh, art should not be confined to languages. Your ethnic animosity, your ethnic differences, keep it to yourself because that's the venom you have in your heart. But art, literature, arts, you know, any form of art should not be confined to the narrow boundaries of ethnicities. So that's why the South Indian movies are now made in 5 languages so they can get a bigger turnover and make movies in a greater budget. And they're very incredibly talented. So happy to see that's happening. And they have managed to capture the attention of the Western world, the mecca of the movie industry known as Hollywood. I guess soon they will be making the world's biggest budgeted best movies in India. I wish everybody very well. I like to see the underdogs coming up. I I I do not like to see any centrifugal forces or oppressive forces try to take over or suppress uh, the neighboring states or any minorities in any country. That's my humble view. If it offends people, I'm sorry, but that's something that I like to get it out of my chest. I have no hatred in my heart. I I treat everybody the same, and but oppression I find despicable. Thank you.